Greetings, Modernism in the Museum students. Happy Friday. I hope this video comes to you after you've had a productive week. I really enjoyed reading through your last week's discussion prompts, and I have a few additional thoughts regarding part one of our two-part exploration of the relationship between museum scholarship and academic art historical scholarship, the scholarship that's generated through the experience of works of art in exhibitions and the textual, archival, academic study of art history, in which the visual aspect of the work of art plays a role, but isn't the ultimate goal, or the enhancement of the appreciation or the experience of the work of art isn't the goal, as it is in the museum exhibition. An important thing to keep in mind, and I'll emphasize this again and again, is that they work together, and there isn't, as we separate them and we begin to look at their differences, they're intended to offer different perspectives on the same subject. They're complements, they're ways that they're resources that we can use to help us do the work that we do as art historians or as curators. It's an important thing to keep in mind in terms of academic art history, and particularly as it gets worked out in the classroom, for example, in terms of teaching, or in terms of in the seminar room. Works of art are made reference to, but we don't have the works of art themselves. The images, the reproductions that we work from are fictions. They are only poor representations of the particular artifact that hangs on a wall in the Stedelijk Museum in Amsterdam, or in Stockholm, Sweden, or the Museum of Modern Art in New York City, or the Louvre in Paris. These are the work of art as a single discrete artifact that exists in one place. And so the images that we use, the reproductions, the slides, etc., are ways that we talk about the absence of the work. The language that I use when I teach is to use language to fill in the gap, or to make present the work itself that is absent. And so we don't have access to the experience of the work of art. We can imaginatively project it, we can recall it if we've seen it, and that can add to our knowledge of the work, the size of the work, the scope of the work, the way that it addresses our physical, embodied, aesthetic being is a part of the knowledge that is unfolded, unveiled by the work of art, and is something that should be studied in art history. Moreover, a critic in the late 19th century, writing about a work of art, is seeing it on public view, seeing it somewhere, seeing it at the annual Salon in Paris, or seeing it at Drouin-Rouel's gallery exhibition of the Impressionists in 1874. They're seeing it on view. In addition, they're seeing it on view next to other objects, next to other paintings. And so an important part of curatorial scholarship in the museum world is how those works of art are presented in relationship to one another. It is how we experience the work of art as among other works of art, so that the that the painting by Van Gogh, The Starry Night, in the Permanent Collection Gallery space at the Museum of Modern Art, is its own discrete entity, but it also forms a word in a syntax, in a sentence structure that includes other paintings in that space that you experience while you are moving your way through the room to that Van Gogh painting, as you see that Van Gogh painting in relationship to other pictures. So, for example, on the other side of the wall, of this wall, where Van Gogh's Starry Night is, you have a painting by Cezanne. You have Large Bather by Cezanne, and so you have an interesting contrast. Something about the relationship of Van Gogh and Cezanne is revealed in that installation that can't really be revealed if we're not in that space and we don't know that space. Or how Monet's paintings are experienced for the first time in their public view in the Impressionist exhibitions is enhanced and deepened when we understand the other works that were exhibited next to it. And so, as part of curatorial scholarship and the creativity of curatorial work goes, the important role of the curator is to create this space between objects, to create a comprehensive aesthetic experience in a room that makes use of these works of art, that enhances their relationship. And so they unfold on each other. It's the interaction of these works in conversation, and that is not available in traditional textual art historical analysis. It's available in the existential real-time experience of the work in that space. And so the curatorial role, say, of how Cezanne's paintings are exhibited in the late 19th century and the early 20th century has a particular kind of impact on how we understand that work. But also the curator that's working at the Museum of Modern Art or the Musée d'Orsay in Paris, when they curate an exhibition of Cezanne's paintings, how they select it reveals something about a contemporary understanding of Cezanne. And so it's that kind of knowledge, the relationship of the various sizes of the paintings, the way the paintings interact with each other, the way that multiple media interact, where a room of sculpture and paintings and works on paper can interact and converse with themselves in terms of, or converse with each other in terms of what it reveals, and how you can bring out certain aspects of a particular work by presenting it in relationship to other works. And that is a distinctive feature that museum scholarship, that the museum exhibition can bring out. And it's that existential dimension, the physical reality of that work of art that the museum emphasizes. Now, the important thing about art history is that it can also move beyond the object. That the object isn't, that it's more than just the object. That there are aspects of its presentations. There's aspects of Cezanne's exhibitions in the late 19th century and the early 20th century that are not available to us, that need to be archivally reconstructed, that need to be imaginatively projected or conjectured. That there's aspects of the artist's intention, there's aspects of how the works of art were initially experienced in how Cezanne's paintings engage the early 20th century art world in Paris. That suggests something about their meaning and significance. And yet what museum scholarship emphasizes, what the museum exhibition emphasizes, is that Cezanne's paintings aren't just historical artifacts, relics of a period in the past that has to be reconstructed, but that these artifacts, these paintings continue to live, and they continue to live again and again in the different contexts that they're placed. Where paintings by Cezanne can be exhibited in the same room of paintings by Damien Hirst or Mark Bradford or other contemporary painters in ways that they could never, and Cezanne can then be engaging in conversations with other paintings that they could not even have conceived of in their original historical contexts. Think about Cezanne in relationship to abstract expressionism, Cezanne in relationship to pop art, Cezanne in relationship to Julian Schnabel's paintings, Cezanne in relationship to contemporary painting. All of those relationships are not possible unless those paintings by Cezanne are continually brought out of the storage rooms, continually brought out from the brought out and presented in public exhibitions. So I hope these thoughts are helpful to you. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to week number 4. And I'll be coming to you from Lincoln, Nebraska. Well, I will be there doing some lectures and visiting my family. And so have a great weekend. Take care.